I too am a fan of yours. I'm going to make a point of disagreeing with you so that it will be fun.
Yeah.
You are so bright and articulate, and I guess I can call you articulate since you're not an American black. Can't say that about them. That's derogatory. And that was a great opening segment. Lots of things to talk about there. Oh, and I agreed with many, many things you said during, in fact, probably more than most other candidates, when you were running for president. But I still would not have voted for you, because you're an Indian. We'll get back to that.
Oh, we might end up with some stories today, y'all. It's Friday. There was a saying my younger brother used to have. There was this white guy that he used to work for like the public school system, or like it was one of those systems. And he was talking about this term they came up with. So the white guy, he was kind of just BSing around on that Friday, not really doing nothing. And so he was sitting around just playing with his phone. He was just chilling for a minute. And so my brother asked him, they say, man, what's going on? Why you ain't working? We supposed to be working or whatever like that, you know? The white guy says, weeds don't work on Fridays. He said, weeds don't what? He said, weeds don't work on Fridays. And so they start honoring that. They start, like, for real, they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. They might do a little sweeping here and there. They might do maybe one little maintenance request, if that. They might turn the paper in Tuesday or something like that. They literally sitting there. They got a little room where a guy got to, at one point, he had a little closet. He bring his Xbox and plug it in the little broom closet. It wasn't like little. It could fit like a few people, like 5 or 6 people, but it's a broom closet. But it's a TV in there or whatever. They plug it in, man. They just playing the game. And that's what the white guy said. I can't remember if he was a lead or whatever, but he said, no, we don't do that. He said, we don't do that. Weeds do not work on Fridays. Now, I don't know where he got the weeds part from, but he said, no, that's nothing that we do. So he's looking at my brother like, you might as well put that broom down. We ain't doing shit. And that will be their whole thing every Friday, because a lot of times the managers will be effing off. They take off and they do a half day or whatever the case may be. Around this time, I don't know if they were doing remote. Some people probably could work from home or whatever. I don't know. This was a while ago. This is before remote was really, really, really a thing. So, damn, man, I hope I don't miss this damn bus. But it's Friday. Well, whatever. It ain't nothing really going on. There's not too much going on. Literally, a lot of people, as I was telling you, now what they're doing in this environment is I'm hearing 3 days. Now I'm a double confirm that, because like I say, I be kind of, I guess, ear hustling so to say. I say, haircut. I'm a surveyor of people, so I kind of, what I do is I listen to people. I think I'm about to make a turn. It's taking too long. I don't like waiting. Oh, here we go. I was about to get impatient. Like this green light turn any more closer to a tortoise behind the hair. So I guess I'll just keep going and bust that right. So right now, yeah, he ain't work. He ain't do. They working. They talking about 3 days. Now see me, I'm on site the whole time, so it probably kind of don't matter all like that. I'm on site the whole damn time. see if I see it. Is that it? Man, that's it, man. I was gonna try to give y'all this story. I'm gonna have to wait. We just getting ready to pull off. I'm gonna give y'all this story. This is about this dude that came in from India that I was talking about. So I'll talk about that when I get there. I could have got it. I kind of missed it. I parked my car real janky, and I don't like parking like that. It looked kind of janky. I could have just left it. There wouldn't have been too many other cars parking in this spot. But I decided to just go ahead and repark. So I'll turn this on back if it starts to. That air kind of gave me, I don't know, my allergies messing with me today. So yeah, what I was saying, y'all, is that damn, it just started bothering me. I could have got that bus. He was just right on the corner. I could have grabbed it, but I guess it wasn't meant for it. There go the new bus right there. The new bus is pulling up. I don't know what's over my throat, man. It just started bothering me. Damn. Could be allergies. I don't know what the hell it is. So here's what ends up happening. Or I'll tell y'all about this little story. I might be able to get to too many stories until, I got 20 minutes or whatnot. So I might be able to get through a couple that I want to cover. If anybody knows, I seen these YouTubers that have been watching videos and they're sitting on their phone with the picture-in-picture and they're doing the reaction. If anybody knows what that software is, email me or put it in the community channel. I'm going to turn on the community channel sometime this weekend. If anybody knows that software, I'm going to look for it too, but I'm just asking y'all. But the way I seen the software, it was some YouTube dude in LA doing it. Some dude from LA was doing it. My nose, I'm gonna turn this AC on. I don't know what the hell going on. Hold on. Damn. I don't know what the hell, if it was the AC. Damn. It just started bothering me, man. It's really, really... Shit. Man, I don't know what the hell's going on. My nose just started messing with me. It might have been this coconut oil stuff. Leave me up a 50 roll or something. Planet Fitness, they got these little green ones. Probably need to change the filter. I don't know what's up. Let me see a bus pull. Going to the east side. All right. Let me get myself together. So, the other day, talking to this little guy at work. He was interning at the company from India. So I'm asking him, and I already know how a lot of that visa stuff kind of works, or going to school, going to the U of M. So I'm asking them about, because I told them, I said, they'll probably end up hiring you. Because that's what, a lot of times what they do, when they get the H-1B visas going for some of these countries, a lot of times they end up hiring these guys. Or they bring them on for a little while, or whatever the case may be. So, what ends up happening, or I'm asking them, so this is like your last week or whatever the case may be. It was supposed to be a lot of them would be completing their project, and they'll be turning in their machines and doing stuff like that. So he's like, yeah, I'm about to go back home for 2 weeks. So now he's a U of M student. So, and they get paid around about $25 an hour or something like that, I think. It's not bad for an intern. That's not bad for an intern. So he tells me they've extended his internship until May of next year. So we talking, and I say, he said, well, I'm not from here. I said, where you from? Well, he says he's from India. And so I said, what's the economy there? So he starts talking about the economy being the 4th largest in the world. And I'm like, really? So, but he says, so I said, oh, well, y'all got a good economy. You're going to be rolling out that Rolls Royce over there. You know, I'm just joking with him and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, well, no, I get my money here. But and so I start kind of thinking. Now, y'all know that y'all have heard this. You've heard this from like the Vivics and all them guys. And, you get a lot of these folks. Now, not this guy. This guy, he's young. He's still getting in the game. So he's still understanding economy and politics. But now, what I'm saying is this. You've been hearing over the years the rhetoric of Black Americans are lazy and stuff like that. Like I say, not from him. But you get somebody, for example, like Vivek Ramaswamy, right? You'll get a dude that'll come from over there. The economy, now he said the economy was large. So I want y'all to think about this. He said the economy was the 4th largest in the world. But he cannot pull money from the economy. Now, yeah, he's going to school over here. What I'm saying is, you'll get people from other places that will make the claim that black folks are not contributing, or they're lazy, and this, that, and the third. But we don't have to go other places to get put on, is what I'm saying. We don't have to do that. We put ourselves on here in this land. Now, you get somebody, and I'm just giving an example. Not this guy. This guy, he's cool. He's listening. He's like, man, thanks for your advice and stuff, because he's asking me questions, and I get, I'm telling him little stuff about, ideas, because he's getting into like the machine learning, AI, stuff like that. So, we got a good rapport. He's a younger guy, so he's asking me questions about the company and stuff like that. I'm a contractor, so I just give him the game from the perspective of somebody that wants to stay on at a company or whatever the case may be. My days are essentially numbered, because see, when I reached out to the recruiter talking about is this going to be 2 years, or is this going to be something where they cut it right in January, whatever the case may be? So they're like, oh, if the funds and if that, and I'm like, okay, in my mind, I'm already thinking I'm gonna find something hybrid. So I'm not really resting on my laurel about that it may go for another X amount of time. Now, I know that there's, well, from what I understand, I know that they have enough assets to where it's supposed to. But I'm not depending upon that. I'm already looking at it like, no, I'm going to find a bag somewhere else, especially if it's hybrid. Not only is it below my skill set, the micromanagement's too high, it's too visible for me for that amount of money. If I want to be visible and want to be around all these folks all the time, I want to make a lot more. You know what I'm saying? I want to be in the upper range. Anyway, that's me. But now, you would hear some of this rhetoric where people would say, well, because they might be looking at maybe black unemployment, or they might find a couple bum Negroes that's just kind of standing around downtown St. Paul or whatever the case may be. You would see that. Now, the first person that he saw that probably would have gave him a little bit of game on inside information outside of maybe some management or whatever that he's working with would be me, a Freeman. That would have been him, because the questions that he was asking, nobody else gave him that information. Fine and dandy. My point is you get somebody, not him, but you get somebody like, for example, Vivek, that you'll have a lot of political parties that would say, they'll push the narrative. They'll push that, what I call that Turning Point USA narrative, and say, well, black folks are lazy. Or for example, like Vivek was trying to say, Americans are lazy. But even if you were born here, dude, if you're first or second gen, you could not, by definition, you or your family could not make it back home. Now, the guy says that it's the fourth largest new economy, yet he cannot pull money from there. He had to come here to go to school, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But what I'm telling you is, usually I'm taking it in the political sphere and the social sphere, the social sphere. They will tell you, they'll use these certain narratives and these certain tropes and say, well, these black folks over here don't do this and we doing so much better. You see what I'm saying? But when you go back and you start looking at where these folks are from, yeah, it's not cutting it. Because they can't pull a dollar where they're from. They have to come over here to do it. So what does that say? Because if you're talented, you should be talented anywhere on the planet, right? Well, they'll say, well, there ain't no opportunity. Well, damn it, you're the fourth largest economy. I'm just speaking to the Viveks and stuff like that. These Vivek and the model minority. Okay, you should have been able to do that. See, we were able to do that the past couple 100 years. We pulled ourselves off the plantation. If you want to talk about a bootstrap theory, we are the architects of the bootstrap. When you talk about pulling up bootstraps, we're the architects. Our folks are the architects of the bootstraps because we're the main ones targeted. You had to have these constitutional laws because whenever we were trying to pull some straps up on the boots or even put a sock on, you had somebody that was undermining us. That's what the 14th Amendment was about. That's what the due process, equal protection of the law, and all of those things were all about. The civil rights laws. Quote unquote DEI is an extension to that too. DEI rests on the laurels of affirmative action. Why was affirmative action created? Now it extended to about 1,000 other people that didn't have the same damn grievance. So what it made us look like a comparative level. There is no comparative level. Sexual orientation, disability, all that. There's no comparative level to what we were dealing with. We fought. They extended those laws based upon a white supremacist apartheid system from the black codes, Jim Crow, all of that. That came from our folks, the lineage of foundational blacks, the descendants of slaves, the foundation of this country, and the foundation of constitutional law. If you really want to look at it, we were the ones that had to push for the foundation of those laws so other people received it. So when we say we're foundationals, we really truly are the foundation of this country. Revolution and all of that, labor law, all of that stuff, a lot of these unions, a lot of these laws are based off of the foundation of the laws we created, that we pushed for. And there was some help. We did have some help, but we did most of the heavy lifting. Damn near all, if not all. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna have some allies and help, and that's and you were supposed to, because see, the thing is some folks will say, well, y'all didn't just do it all by yourself. We pretty much did it all, and we had some assistance. But building the economy, if you look at this economy, the New York Stock Exchange, all these big buildings, these big beautiful buildings, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, Ameriprise, all these damn banks, most of them were involved in the slave trade. Therefore, that's the economy of the world, of the United States. If they're the economy, you got to have a bank to loan money, to make profit, to charge people interest. Well, how did they get the money to build these banks? How? Slave labor. Well, who was perpetrating the slave labor? Who was on the plantation? Who was building the railroads? So when you look at the laws, when we call ourselves foundationals, we not lying about it. Dr. Claude Anderson initially came up with the term native blacks because we're native to this land. When we got off that boat 400 to 500 years ago, we were native to this land. We're a new Negro, ethnogenesis, new culture, music, rap, blues, all of that was new. That was the founding documents. That was the founding architecture of this country, is our music and our style. We cooked the food on the plantation. All of the culture was created by us. Therefore, we're the foundation of the country. I don't care what those folks that showed up and got 100,000 acres of free land, the Thomas Jeffersons and all them people that came from Europe, and then they get showed up. They get showed up and they put some money on a couple boats and brought our folks over here. Okay, well, so they didn't really do shit. They just had some money and power, but they didn't create it. They didn't create no conventions. They didn't create anything. They weren't doing no labor. So they're not the founders of this country. They're not the founders of this country. They're founders as far as making other people do the work, but they didn't do shit. So they're not foundational. You see? So when you look at these laws, is what I'm saying. If you look at these laws, and I talk about it a lot because 13, 14, 15, all these amendments, they had to get ratified because of what was being done specifically to us. And all of those laws are used as precedents for any other law in America when it comes to work. When they talk about, oh, well, DEI and all these labor laws and all that kind of stuff, a lot of those laws, if not all of them, majority. So if you hear somebody say, well, they're lazy or whatever the case may be, but we didn't have to leave. First of all, there was nowhere for us to go. Not really. They could have said, well, yeah, go to Africa. Well, you see, they still ain't got it together over there, so you can't use that. You can't use that one. Pan-Africanism hasn't been doing too well lately. So no, that's not going to work. You can't use that. The Prince of Pancakes and the Prince of Paninis kind of messed that up a little bit. It didn't help. It really didn't help. Because folks ain't really looking at that like, hey, you know. You know, so you don't have... We don't have that relationship here in America in Africa in terms of commerce and building up this, building up that. They got all the minerals and stuff like that, but they got to get the white folks out and get rid of the dictators. Y'all going to clean that up. Ain't nothing we can do about that. Y'all got to clean that up. So, you know, so they can't say, because they'll use the term all the time. They used to tell us, race soldiers used to tell us all the time, well, go back to Africa. Well, I ain't been there 500 years. I have no direct connection, culture that's directly connected. There's nobody I can call over there. They say go back to Africa. No, I'm home. My folks built this. You showed up later. White immigrants came later. There wasn't a whole during the formation of this country. It wasn't just the people that would have said that. Their folks likely immigrated. They showed up in a boat in New York, talking about I ain't have a penny to my name and all this shit. That's what they did. And then maybe about 5-6 generations now, they're telling you go back to Africa. That's the people that say stuff like that. So that's just when they say go back to Africa. Now they're not telling Elon Musk that. They're not telling him that. But whenever you used to hear that term, go back to Africa, you don't hear it as much, but you used to hear that a lot. Well, go back to Africa. White guy get mad at you. He may not call you the N-word. He might just say, go back to Africa. So he's basically calling you the N-word in so many words. But no, I just wanted y'all to kind of see from a bird's eye view, a lot of these folks that they bring over here, that's what they do. They can't pull. Now he's telling me this. I'm not saying this. This ain't my words. I can't pull money from the country. That's why I'm here. But you'll get a Vivek that starts talking about Americans are lazy. Now he's talking about black Americans, probably more than likely. But he tried to broaden it and say American. And then after a while, the right wing people said, wait a minute, nigga. Who are you to tell Americans are lazy? So they start getting on him. Like how we usually have to point out to some of these folks. They start getting on him like, wait a minute. You're not in your homeland. He said, well, I was born here, but your mom and your daddy came here. They couldn't pull the economy. They couldn't make it where they were from. So you over here talking shit, trying to lecture us about us being lazy. And they said, oh, no. So Vivek kind of messed up. They said, oh, no, you tell that to the Negroes. You tell them that they're lazy. But he tried to tell the white folks that they were lazy. Oh, Americans are lazy. And it didn't go well for Vivek. You see, he didn't get no cabinet seat. If he had any connection to the Doge or the Elon, yeah, he's not doing that no more. So the white folks read him his rights. And I'm going to post this at the end. The white folks read him his rights. Wait a minute. You talk to those niggas like that. Don't tell us that we're lazy. You're not even in your homeland. You couldn't make money back home. You had to come over here. Don't lecture us. It's like you got a cousin trying to tell you about a house. That nigga's in Section 8 with pissy hallways, and he coming over to your mansion telling you, well, man, you need to come, man, put a little bit of pine sol on your nigga. If you don't get out of here with your cockroaches, you got a good time set up with extra cockroaches on the side. You got cockroach souffle over here trying to lecture me about my mansion. Nigga, please. You know, you might have had a cousin or something like, or somebody you know trying to lecture you about what you should do. This nigga can't even pay his phone bill. House look like an elephant did a somersault in it, trying to tell you about how you should run your house. He don't know how to pay his bills over here. Now he done got kicked out of his house. You done gave him a room, and he's trying to tell you how you should run your house, giving you advice. Nigga, I don't need your advice. There ain't nothing you could learn. I could learn from you, because you fled from where you were from. You had to leave. You weren't paying your bills. So now you're over here trying to tell me how I should orchestrate my house. You got the U-Haul bringing your cockroach infested Xbox out here. So yeah, man. I had to go to the stop. Yeah, don't never believe that, y'all. Don't believe this whole, you know, and we don't believe. We be checking it. We like, no. Yeah. A lot of times they do that. They will bring folks over from a lot of these other places because, you know, through the visas and the work programs and stuff like that. And 10, 15 minutes later, 5 to 7 years later, they talking like Vivek Ramaswamy. But like I said, the little guy I was talking to, that wasn't him. He was just telling me about how he got it. So, you know, but no, he was good.